Hello and welcome to the show. Today, we're not going to have a full fledged podcast episode because I want to use this as an intro to what we're going to be talking about for the next couple of days. We are going to be tackling another audience question, and this is from Bernadette Mutsambiwa. So, sorry for getting to your question late. Now, the reason why I'm not going to tackle her question today is because her question is very specific and is going to involve some more detail than what we're used to over here on the podcast because it's because of the specific nature of the question. Now she's thinking of opening a diagnostic, sorry, not library. What's it called? Laboratory. She's thinking of opening a diagnostics laboratory, and her question is this: is it best to number one, market the idea first, and then set up the laboratory eventually, or option two, does it make more sense to secure the laboratory first, get the building, get the equipment, all that, and then start advertising? She wants to know which is ideal. Now, for those of you who've been listening to the podcast for a very long time, if this is your first time of listening, we have over 720 episodes so far where we discuss all things sales, marketing related, business development, personal selling, whatever it is that you want to call it. So if you've been listening for a very long time, you know what my own personal leanings are on the matter, that it makes more sense to first of all validate the idea and be sure that you have a viable business idea before you throw any time, effort, and money behind it. Because it really sucks to spend 6 months, 1 year, 2 years behind a marketing idea, behind setting up a business, only to discover that it was the wrong business to begin with. There's no demand, wrong neighborhood, what else? Different things that can crop up. So I lean more towards option one, which is market the idea first, and then you set up later on. But then again, this is one of those things that can be done either way, and there are people that have built successful businesses doing it either way, which is securing the lab first based on a hunch or whatever, and then start advertising to bring in the clientele. And then there are some people who have put out feelers into the market first, try and do some preliminary sales and marketing motions first, and then set up the business later on. So it can work either way. So I think that to do justice to Bernadette Mutsambiwa's question, it would make a lot more sense to just make podcast episodes that explore both perspectives: marketing first, or validating the idea first before you set up the business, and then setting up the business first, and then you now start trying to look for clients. So we're going to look at the advantages or the disadvantages of each approach, and then I am going to come up with ideas for how to do both. How are you going to validate the idea for opening up a diagnostics laboratory in your country, in your city, in your locale, wherever you are? Yes, how do you validate that idea? And then we're going to look at particulars. That's if your diagnostics laboratory is already up and running. How do you now, how do you now look for clients for the business? So today's podcast episode is just an intro, just to let you guys know we're tackling Bernadette Mutsambiwa's question, and we're going to go into a lot more detail than what we're used to over here on the podcast. So expect this to be another one of those multi-part episodes, maybe 5 or 6, possibly 7 episodes, where we are teasing out all the issues that are involved. Now, for those of you who are thinking of, excuse me, I still have the cold. So for those of you who are thinking of setting up a business and you've been wondering about these approaches, then you can now use Bernadette Mutsambiwa's question, and you can use her own circumstances as a proxy for how to work through your own ideas. Are you going to validate the business idea first and then set everything up? Or are you going to just go ahead and start the business and then try and look for customers to come on board? So in my usual fashion, there are going to be lots of sub-questions that we address over the next couple of days. Now, however, a bit of a warning. I might be unavailable for the next 3 days because we are providing media coverage for another British Council event. They are doing an inclusive schools conference in Abuja at the moment. It's happening at the, Intercontinental Hotel. I think that's what it's called now, but it used to be called Sheraton Hotel. So it's an inclusive schools conference. I'm providing the photography. My associates are handling video and live streaming because it's going to be something that people should be able to what's that word, dial into or click into. Sorry, I'm not sure how that works, when you're doing Zoom and Microsoft Teams and Facebook Live and all that. So we're going to be handling all those logistics. So if you would love to be a part of the event, then just hit the internet, hit Google or Instagram or whatever, find the British Council handles, and then see how you can be a part of that. If you're interested about these sorts of things, how you can make education much more inclusive. But I think this one is going to be on a secondary school level. I think I'm not sure. Anyway, so because that event is going to be going on and we're going to be handling multiple parts of the events, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to make podcast episodes while the event is going on. But of course, if I can, in my usual fashion, when there's a break, or maybe after the event is done, before I head back home, I can just pop into the car and then knock out a couple of episodes, and we continue the conversation on Bernadette Mutsambiwa's question. So thank you very much, Bernadette, and all the people who've been sending in questions. I'll keep tackling them as of when I have the time and the opportunities to do so. If this is your first time listening to the podcast, welcome. Like I said, over 720 episodes, all the good stuff: sales, marketing, business development. Just search using the search tab function in the podcast player, and you'll be able to find whatever. You'll be able to find a number of topics on things that catch your fancy. So, yeah, that's it. This podcast is available on Spotify, Google Podcast, what else? Apple. So remember to subscribe once you're done listening to the episode. And then also leave me a 5-star review, because so far I'm giving you much more value than what you guys have paid for, which is absolutely nothing, because the podcast is free. Then you can connect with me also, or rather I would encourage you guys to connect with me on WhatsApp and on LinkedIn. For LinkedIn, the spelling of my name, you can find that on the website where you're listening to this episode. Also, you can find it on the podcast player where you're listening to my voice. Oh, sorry about that car driving by. Yes, this is an out and about episode. Then what else? Okay, yeah, my phone number for WhatsApp and also for Telegram, because I got a few messages from some folks on Telegram this morning. Well, we just started the chat. I'm not sure if they're podcast listeners yet. So the phone number 080-6466-2140, and the country code is +234. That's for those of you who are hitting me up from outside the shores of Nigeria. So thank you very much for your time and attention. I look forward to tackling the questions from Bernadette Mutsambiwa, and I hope that the things that we dredge up from the question are going to be useful to those of you who are thinking, I want to start a business. Should I do option 1, validate the idea first, market the idea first, and then set up? Or should I option 2, just go ahead, buy the building, buy the equipment, buy the raw materials, buy everything, start the business, and then start looking for customers? So thanks for your time and attention. I'll catch you guys at the next episode. If all works out well, next episode should be tomorrow. But if things are rough with covering the event, then we will start that in 3 days. Okay, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, that's the event. So worst case scenario, I'll be back here on Friday and we'll tackle her question. So catch you guys at the next episode.